To truly grasp the depth of Think and Grow Rich, we must travel back to the early 20th century and understand the story behind its creation. It is a story that serves as powerful proof of the book's principles. In 1908, a young journalist named Napoleon Hill was assigned to interview Andrew Carnegie, who was then the wealthiest industrialist in the world and owner of a vast steel corporation. A conversation, originally scheduled for 30 minutes, extended into a 3-day discussion. Carnegie was struck by the young journalist's sharp mind, observation skills, and energy. At the end of their meeting, Carnegie made Hill an offer that completely altered the trajectory of his life. Carnegie said, "Men and women spend years discovering the laws of success through trial and error. Most of them die in poverty without ever unlocking the secret. I offer you the opportunity to spend the next 20 years of your life studying the most successful people on earth. You will meet them, analyze their habits, their mindset, and their methods, and synthesize a single, unified system of achievement. I will not pay you a single cent for this work. I will only provide letters of introduction. Do you accept?" Young Napoleon Hill had only 20 seconds to make his decision. He said, yes. That decisive moment marked his first step toward creating one of the most influential systems of personal growth ever written. Over the next 2 decades, Hill met personally with the greatest minds of his era. He analyzed not only their victories, but also their failures, their fears, and their internal crises. In parallel, Hill studied the lives of more than 25,000 individuals who had failed in life in order to identify the exact mistakes that lead to defeat. So, what is the core fundamental idea extracted from those 2 decades of research? Napoleon Hill summarized it in one concise yet immensely powerful phrase: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Hill's central thesis is that thoughts are things. A thought is not merely an abstract neurochemical reaction. A thought is a fundamental form of energy. Every sustained thought you hold, when saturated with emotion, strives to translate itself into its physical or financial equivalent. Wealth, success, and financial independence do not happen by accident. They are not the result of blind luck, a winning lottery ticket, or favorable circumstances. Wealth is the result of a specific state of mind. It is the direct consequence of instilling clear psychological habits into your consciousness and executing consistent, practical steps. Similarly, poverty, debt, and hardship are not curses or unavoidable fates. They are the result of an opposite state of mind, one where an individual allows fear, doubt, procrastination, and negative beliefs to dominate their thinking. Think and Grow Rich offers a structured, 13-step system designed to transform thought impulses into tangible material values. Let us examine each of these 13 principles in detail. The 13 Principles of Success. Principle 1. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. The first step on the path to riches is desire. But Hill emphasizes we are not talking about a casual wish, a vague hope, or a passive dream that money will fall from the sky. We are talking about a definite, burning desire. This is a state of mind where an idea or goal completely captures your consciousness, becoming your primary passion and dominant thought. Most people say, "I want to be rich," but when you ask them for the exact amount they require, what they plan to give in return, and what sacrifices they are prepared to make, it becomes clear that they lack both clarity and internal readiness. Their desire is superficial. At the first encounter with hardship, criticism, or obstacles, they surrender and retreat to their comfort zone. Napoleon Hill illustrates this with the story of Edwin C. Barnes, a man who possessed nothing except a burning desire to become the business associate of the great inventor Thomas Edison. Barnes had no money, even for a train ticket to Edison's laboratory. He had no connections and no formal credentials, but he possessed a burning desire. He arrived at Edison's lab without a cent in his pocket and accepted a low-level menial job in his company. Years passed, but Barnes never forgot his goal. He refused to view himself as a mere employee. He actively looked for an opportunity to prove his worth. When Edison invented a new office device, the Ediphone, which the company's sales force dismissed as unmarketable, Barnes saw his chance. He took charge of selling the device and built it into a massive commercial success, eventually earning his place as Edison's official business partner. How do you translate a vague desire into actual money? Napoleon Hill outlines a practical 6-step formula. Step 1. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient merely to say, "I want a lot of money." Be definite as to the amount. For example, $100,000 or $1 million. Step 2. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. What will you exchange? Your time, your focused efforts, your energy, your skill. Step 3. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Without a deadline, a goal remains a mere wish. Step 4. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire, and begin at once, whether you feel fully prepared or not, to put this plan into action. Step 5. Write out a clear, concise statement of your amount, the time limit, what you intend to give in exchange, and the explicit plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Step 6. Read your written statement aloud, twice daily. Once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. Principle 2. Faith, visualization of, and belief in attainment of desire. The second principle in Hill's system is faith. Faith is the primary catalyst that animates a thought impulse and imparts power to it. Faith is a state of mind that is induced and developed through repeated affirmations and visual instructions to the subconscious mind. Hill points out that the subconscious mind does not distinguish between constructive and destructive thoughts. It accepts as truth whatever thought impulse is repeatedly backed by strong emotion. If you constantly dwell on poverty, fear, lack, worry about debts, and convince yourself that money is the root of all evil, or success is only for the privileged, your subconscious will accept those inputs as commands. It will actively look for evidence in your environment to validate your fears and block opportunities for growth. Conversely, if you deliberately and systematically saturate your mind with faith in your success, your subconscious mind begins to spot and attract the necessary paths to achieve your goals. Faith is not passive waiting. It is an active psychological state. Hill outlines the progression of faith. First, you formulate a definite thought. Second, you repeat it consistently, auto-suggestion. Gradually, the thought penetrates the subconscious mind. The subconscious forms a deep internal conviction faith, and faith impels you to take bold, decisive, and effective action. Principle 3. Autosuggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. The third principle is self-suggestion. It serves as the agency of communication between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Our conscious mind acts as a guard at the gate. It filters incoming information, analyzes it, and critiques it. Our subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. Whatever seed you drop into this garden will grow. If you plant seeds of weeds, thoughts of fear, insecurity, and scarcity, you will harvest weeds. If you plant seeds of wheat, thoughts of success, abundance, and confidence, you will harvest a rich crop. Autosuggestion is the method of voluntarily feeding the subconscious mind with constructive seeds. However, mechanical repetition of positive statements alone is insufficient. For autosuggestion to work, 3 essential elements are required. First, emotion. A thought unbacked by feeling cannot reach the subconscious mind. You must feel what you are declaring. Second, visualization. You must picture the end result vividly in your mind's eye. If you are speaking of wealth, visualize holding it, spending it, and experiencing the changes it brings. Third, persistence. The process of suggestion must be daily. The subconscious mind responds to repetition. Principle 4. Specialized knowledge, personal experiences, or observations. The fourth principle often causes confusion, and Napoleon Hill dedicates significant attention to clarifying it. He divides knowledge into two distinct categories: general knowledge and specialized knowledge. General knowledge consists of academic theory, general facts, and broad erudition. Universities around the world are filled with professors who possess vast amounts of general knowledge. They may understand history, literature, physics, and higher mathematics, yet many of them struggle financially. Why? Because general knowledge, no matter how abundant, does not automatically attract money. It remains useless for accumulating wealth until it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action toward a definite end. Specialized knowledge, on the other hand, consists of targeted, practical skills and information necessary to solve specific problems in business, investment, and production. Napoleon Hill reveals a major secret of wealthy individuals. You do not personally need to possess all the specialized knowledge yourself. Successful leaders are distinguished not by knowing the answers to every technical question, but by their ability to locate, organize, and direct a team of people who possess the required specialized knowledge. Hill illustrates this with an incident involving Henry Ford. A newspaper published an article calling Ford an ignorant pacifist. Ford sued the paper for libel. During the trial, the defense attorneys subjected Ford to a barrage of general knowledge questions to prove his lack of education. How many soldiers did the British send to America in 1776? Who was the leader of the rebellion? And so forth. After enduring several such questions, Henry Ford leaned forward and said to the lawyer, "If I should really want to answer the foolish question you have just asked, or any of the others you have been asking, let me remind you that I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk, and by pushing the right button, I can call to my aid men who can answer any question I desire to ask concerning the business to which I am devoting most of my life. Now, will you kindly tell me why I should clutter my mind with general knowledge for the purpose of being able to answer questions when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require?" The courtroom fell silent. Everyone present recognized the difference between a person who merely holds facts and a true leader of capital. Principle 5. Imagination, the workshop of the mind. The fifth principle is imagination. Hill calls imagination the workshop where all plans created by human beings are fashioned. Everything created by humanity, from a simple nail to skyscrapers, space exploration, and global digital networks, first existed as a thought impulse in someone's imagination. Napoleon Hill divides imagination into two forms. Synthetic imagination. This faculty functions by drawing upon old concepts, ideas, or plans and combining them into new combinations. It creates no new material, but works with the accumulated experience and education stored within the mind. This form of imagination is most commonly used by entrepreneurs to improve existing businesses, optimize processes, and build marketing strategies. Creative imagination. This is a higher level of imagination. Through it, the mind connects directly with what Hill terms infinite intelligence. It is the realm where flashes of intuition, original discoveries, great works of art, and groundbreaking business concepts originate. Creative imagination functions automatically when the conscious mind is vibrating at a high rate, stimulated by intense desire and emotion. Developing the imagination requires continuous exercise. Like any physical muscle, imagination weakens through disuse, but can be restored to full strength through regular application. Principle 6. Organized planning. The crystallization of desire into action. The sixth principle is organized planning. No desire, no brilliant idea can produce financial results unless it is transformed into a practical, concrete, and well-designed plan of action. Napoleon Hill provides fundamental instructions for building effective plans. First, ally yourself with a group of individuals. Build your own mastermind alliance, which we will discuss shortly. Second, before forming your alliance, decide what advantages and benefits you can offer the members of your team in exchange for their cooperation. Third, meet with your team regularly until your plan has been fully polished and perfected. Fourth, if your first plan fails, replace it with a new one. The failure of a single plan does not mean the failure of your ultimate goal. It simply indicates that your initial plan contained flaws. Hill emphasizes, most people mistake temporary defeat for permanent failure. When a plan collapses, the average person quits, assuming the idea itself was flawed. A successful individual understands that only a specific mechanism failed, not the destination. They take a fresh sheet of paper, adjust the plan using the experience gained, and press forward again. Thomas Edison experienced thousands of temporary defeats before successfully perfecting the incandescent electric light bulb. Was he a failure? No, he simply systematically eliminated unworkable plans. Principle 7. Decision. The mastery of procrastination. The seventh principle is decision. In analyzing the causes of failure among more than 25,000 individuals, Napoleon Hill discovered that indecision, or procrastination, was near the top of the list. Indecision is the silent killer of great achievements. It is the habit of postponing decisions, doubting one's choices, and waiting for an ideal moment that never arrives. In contrast, Hill's study of over 500 millionaires revealed a striking pattern. Every single wealthy individual shared the habit of reaching decisions very quickly and changing them very slowly. Conversely, individuals who struggle financially almost invariably make decisions very slowly, if at all, and change those decisions frequently and rapidly at the first sign of difficulty. Why do successful people make decisions quickly? Because they possess clear values, a definite vision of their goals, and an active, burning desire. They know what they want, so they do not waste time oscillating. Furthermore, Hill warns against being overly influenced by the opinions of others. Most people allow friends, relatives, and acquaintances to sway their choices. Others, often out of misguided care or their own hidden fears, offer unsolicited advice, criticism, and warnings that erode your resolve. If you wish to succeed, keep your own counsel, reach your own decisions, and rely primarily on your trusted mastermind alliance. Principle 8. Persistence. The sustained effort necessary to induce faith. The eighth principle is persistence. Persistence is the quality that determines whether a person will endure the inevitable challenges, crises, and temporary setbacks along the way. Persistence is driven by willpower. When willpower and burning desire are combined, they form an irresistible force. Napoleon Hill observed that on the path to achievement, almost every individual encounters what he termed the demon of opposition. It appears as though everything collapses, plans break down, resources run dry, and voices around you say, "Give up, it isn't working." It is precisely at this critical juncture that persistence proves its value. Those who lack it surrender one step away from breakthrough. Those who possess it keep moving forward, causing the opposition to fade and yield to achievement. Hill identifies 4 steps to cultivate persistence: a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment, a definite plan expressed in continuous action, a mind tightly closed against all negative influences, including constructive criticism from relatives and friends, a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. Principle 9. Power of the master mind, the driving force. The ninth principle is the power of the master mind. No individual in history has accumulated great wealth and success entirely on their own. Hill defines the master mind as coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. What is the source of the mastermind's power? Hill offers an intriguing analogy drawn from physics and energy. When you connect two electrical batteries together, they deliver more power than the sum of their individual capacities. They create synergy. A similar process occurs within the human mind. When two or more minds align in total harmony toward a common objective, a metaphorical third mind is created, a collective intellectual force that exceeds the combined capacity of any single member. Andrew Carnegie explicitly told Napoleon Hill that he personally knew very little about the technical manufacturing of steel. His entire industrial empire was built by the members of his master mind engineers, chemists, managers, and salespeople. Carnegie's genius lay in his ability to assemble these minds, inspire them, and direct their collective energy toward a single goal. Principle 10. The mystery of sex transmutation. The 10th principle is one of the most unique and widely discussed chapters in Hill's philosophy. It is the transmutation of sex energy. Hill asserted that the sexual urge is the most powerful of all human desires and drivers. The impulse for sexual expression is a dominant, motivating force in nature. However, if this energy is expended solely through physical channels, its power is dispersed. Transmutation means the redirection of this vital energy from physical expression into creative, intellectual, and financial channels. Napoleon Hill analyzed the biographies of history's most prominent figures and found that almost all possessed strong sexual energy. However, most achieved their greatest accomplishments after the age of 40, when they learned to consciously channel this drive into professional pursuits, creative endeavors, and business building. An individual who develops the capacity to transmute this force gains heightened personal magnetism, charisma, endurance, and persuasive power qualities that attract people and opportunities to them. Principle 11. The subconscious mind, the connecting link. The 11th principle is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind functions as a connecting link between the finite mind of an individual and infinite intelligence. The subconscious mind operates continuously, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, whether you are aware of it or not. It registers every thought, emotion, and impression that reaches it. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or goal you wish to see transformed into physical reality. To make the subconscious mind work constructively for you, follow one essential rule. Feed your subconscious mind exclusively with positive emotions. Hill highlights 7 primary positive emotions that stimulate the subconscious mind toward constructive output: desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. At the same time, you must actively eliminate 7 primary negative emotions that sabotage subconscious function: fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, superstition, anger. Remember, positive and negative emotions cannot occupy your mind at the exact same time. One or the other must dominate. The choice rests entirely with you. Principle 12. The brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. The 12th principle is the brain. Napoleon Hill compared the human brain to a broadcasting and receiving station for thought vibrations. Every thought produces a specific energetic frequency. When you hold a thought with high intensity and emotional engagement, your brain broadcasts those vibrations into the surrounding environment. This explains why individuals in different parts of the world sometimes arrive at identical scientific discoveries simultaneously, or why you might think of a person just moments before they contact you. When you tune your brain to the frequency of success, wealth, and opportunity, you begin to automatically attract matching ideas, people, and circumstances from your environment. Principle 13. The sixth sense, the door to the temple of wisdom. The final, 13th principle of Hill's system is the sixth sense, intuition. The sixth sense is the apex of the Think and Grow Rich philosophy. It becomes accessible only after an individual has mastered and applied the preceding 12 principles. The sixth sense is that portion of the subconscious mind referred to as creative imagination. Through it, an individual receives sudden flashes of insight, inspiration, warnings of danger, and answers to complex problems that transcend logical analysis. Hill wrote that through a developed sixth sense, your internal guidance system will alert you to emerging opportunities and warn you of potential pitfalls in time to avoid them. Great leaders, investors, and innovators rely not only on data and analysis, but also on their intuition. The sixth sense guides them on when to proceed with a project and when to step back. The 6 ghosts of fear. Even when a person fully comprehends all 13 principles, a final, formidable obstacle often stands in their path: fear. Napoleon Hill devotes the closing chapter of his book to analyzing the 6 basic fears that paralyze human willpower, cloud judgment, and keep individuals bound to scarcity. Hill refers to these as 6 ghosts because, in reality, most of them exist entirely within the imagination. Let us examine each of these 6 basic fears in detail. 1. The fear of poverty. This is the most destructive and prevalent fear of all. The fear of poverty can paralyze an individual's reasoning faculties, destroy imagination, erode persistence, and kill self-confidence. Symptoms of the fear of poverty include indifference, a willingness to accept one's current financial struggles without putting up a fight. Indecision, constantly making excuses as to why now is not the right time to start a business or make a career change. Worry, actively searching for negative news, expecting financial ruin, crises, or economic collapse. Overcaution, a hyperfixation on the risk of losing small amounts of money, preventing participation in promising opportunities. How do you conquer this fear? By making a firm, unshakable decision. Accumulating wealth requires effort, but poverty offers no protection. I choose wealth. 2. The fear of criticism. This fear robs an individual of initiative, destroys individuality, and hinders creative imagination. People refrain from stepping forward, launching projects, or voicing their ideas out of concern over what the neighbors will say, what relatives will think, or how colleagues will react. Symptoms of the fear of criticism include self-consciousness, timidity in speech, fear of public speaking, and hesitancy in expressing opinions. Extravagance, spending beyond one's means to project an image of success to impress others. Lack of initiative, a tendency to follow the crowd rather than stand by one's own convictions. How do you conquer this fear? Recognize that most people are far too preoccupied with their own lives and insecurities to spend real time judging yours. Stop worrying about the opinions of others. 3. The fear of ill health. This fear is closely tied to the fears of poverty and aging. An individual experiencing it constantly searches for symptoms of disease, falls into hypochondria, and drains mental energy, worrying about physical decline. Napoleon Hill highlights that many physical ailments have a psychosomatic origin. When you continuously dwell on illness, your subconscious mind can weaken your resistance and induce physical symptoms. How do you conquer this fear? Shift your attention away from symptoms, stop discussing illnesses, and focus your mind on active, healthy habits. 4. The fear of loss of love. This fear breeds jealousy, suspicion, constant anxiety, and emotional distress. It drains energy that could otherwise be directed toward constructive, professional, and creative achievements. How do you conquer this fear? Develop genuine self-reliance. Authentic relationships are built on mutual respect and freedom, not on attempts to control or possess another person. 5. The fear of old age. This fear stems from worrying about losing physical vitality, independence, and financial security as years pass. Because of it, many individuals in their 40s or 50s convince themselves that their best years are behind them. Napoleon Hill strongly rejects this myth. He demonstrates that an individual's most productive, wise, and financially successful years often occur after 40 or 50, when accumulated experience combines with emotional maturity. How do you conquer this fear? View age not as a decline, but as a period of heightened wisdom, capability, and freedom. 6. The fear of death. This is the oldest and deepest fear of all. It can create existential anxiety and a sense of futility that robs life of purpose. How do you conquer this fear? Accept death as an inevitable law of nature. Focus your attention not on when life will end, but on what legacy you will build, how much value you will contribute, and how fully you will live the time available to you. Conclusion and key takeaways. Let us summarize our detailed review of Napoleon Hill's classic work, Think and Grow Rich. This book is not a collection of magic formulas. It is a proven system of self-discipline, mental re-engineering, and practical execution. The primary lessons left to us by Hill are: thought is primary. Everything surrounding you today, your work, your income level, your environment, and your quality of life, is a direct reflection of your dominant thoughts over recent years. Want to change your reality? Start by changing your thoughts. Definiteness of purpose. Formulate your burning desire with clear figures, timelines, and action steps. Floating along hoping for luck yields no progress. Action and persistence. No idea works on its own. You must act, learn from temporary setbacks, refine your plans, and keep moving forward. Environment matters. Build your mastermind alliance. Surround yourself with strong, positive, goal-oriented individuals who lift you up. Conquer your fears. Clear your mind of the 6 ghosts of fear. Replace doubt and anxiety with unshakable faith in your capability. Remember, your mind is the one thing over which you possess complete, absolute control. Use that control wisely. Thank you for listening. May your thoughts construct great assets, your goals become reality, and your mind remain free from fear and doubt.